Derry Cooperative School District. So let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, you guys want to lead us? Come on up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job. All right. So we'll start the meeting by approving the public minutes from October 22nd. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes 4-0. I'll take a motion to approve the non-public minutes from October 22nd.
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by Michael. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes 4-0. All right, personnel. At this point in time, we had originally waited to accept the resignation of Wilbert Danger, but at this point, I don't think we can do that anymore, obviously. So I will accept a motion to accept the resignation of Wilbert Danger.
So moved.
First by Jonathan.
Second.
Second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. All right, next up on the list, we have the appointment of the new school board member. So at this point in time, through November 7th, we received five letters of interest. One from Diane Cole, Karen Reed, Tom Carden, Jenna Paradise, and Jen Thoreau.
Rand.
So at this point in time, huh? Rand, what did I say? Oh, I said Reed, I'm sorry, Rand, jeez. Subliminal thing. Sorry about that. So at this point in time, do we have a nomination? Oh, excuse me, no, wait 1 second. My apologies. I do want to read a message from Brenda, who couldn't make it tonight for personal reasons. So give me 2 seconds and I'll read that to everybody. I think it's relative, and obviously we want to make sure her voice is heard. It's a good afternoon. So you received this at 5 o'clock. Good afternoon. I am sorry I will not be in attendance tonight. I wanted to share my thoughts about the appointment of a new school board member. It was great to see so many interested individuals, and I hope that the interest continues. I feel the only fair appointment is Jenna Paradise. She ran a campaign. Yes, it was a write-in, but she was all in, including sitting on the stage at a candidate forum and answering questions from the public. The process that was used to vet all candidates, in my opinion, was not open and transparent. Each of us calling individuals and reading private letters was not the best process. While I am sure each would fit the needs of the board until March, in my opinion, the only fair choice is the person who was part of the last election process and faced the voters at the forum, responded to a reporter's questions, etc. Again, I am sorry and unable to attend. So that was Brenda's feedback. The one thing I would say is we followed the policies that are in place right now for the school board. So what I would say, Austin, is if there's any thought that process is not transparent or appropriate, I'd suggest the policy committee take a hard look at that and make any adjustments that are necessary for consideration. So at this point in time, I will accept any and all nominations.
All right, I'll speak first. So I understand Brenda's sentiments. I agree with David that as well as regarding the policies and procedures and following that. And again, to echo Brenda's sentiments as well, I think we're lucky to have 5 people that were dedicated and courageous enough to put their names in the hat, and I appreciate every single one of them. I did take the opportunity to speak with each one of them. I let them know that, I'd be honored to serve with any of them because I think it is important that we have good people that are dedicated to this, and I appreciate them putting themselves out there. That being said, I do feel really strongly that one candidate did kind of stand out from the rest. So I will make a motion to nominate Jen Thoreau as the person to take over to fulfill Wilbert's seat for the remainder of this year.
Second.
Okay, we have a first from Jonathan, a second from Jason. Take a roll call vote. Jason.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So the motion passes 4-0. And we have Ms. Guilford here tonight to swear in the new school board member. And I guess we can seat her as well, I assume, tonight. All right, Jen, come on up. Thank you. Congratulations.
I, Jennifer Thoreau, do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm that I will bear faith and true allegiance to the United States of America and the state of New Hampshire, and will support the Constitution thereof. So help me God. I, Jennifer Thoreau, do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as a Derry Cooperative School Board member for a term ending March 11th, 2025, according to the best of my abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God. Congratulations. Sign right here. And you can take your seat.
Okay.
All right, so next we have our presentation from Ernest P. Barker and our volunteer recognition.
Thank you. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Great. The first thing we're going to do is recognize our Volunteer of the Year. So I'm going to call Katie Ficello up here with me. Katie is our PTA president at Barker Elementary School, and we would like to recognize her as our Volunteer of the Year. She is a huge catalyst for all the stuff that goes on at the school. The Barker PTA goes above and beyond, and anything that you want the PTA to do, we reach out. We have a great working relationship. We reach out to Katie, and her team puts a great product on the table and is able to give Barker what we need for our kids. So we want to thank Katie for all she does.
Okay, Certificate of Appreciation, Volunteers in Education, Katie Ficello, for valued service at Ernest P. Barker Elementary School.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Keep going. All right, on with the show. So we have an awesome group here. We have our fourth grade group here. under the guidance of Miss Sarah Clark. She is going to bring the fourth grade group up here and explain a little bit about what they do, and then we are going to actually demonstrate what we're going to do for the teachers at Barca. So these kids put this on once a month for the teachers at Barca. You guys do have your Barca bucks, which is probably more valuable than the U.S. currency right now. Maybe not crypto, but definitely the U.S. currency. So you can take that money, and we will be around with coffee, but Ms. Clark and the students are going to come up and just explain a little bit about what they do.
I gave it to you. Oh,
Slideshow. Sorry.
we don't, you have to send it to us. I can't, we have no way to hook it up. Can you email me the presentation?
Yeah, you totally can. Yeah, sorry. I just sent.
Waiting on it.
Sorry. Yeah.
Wait a minute, there it is, right there. Now I have to share it with. you go.
So, thank you. So this is the Barca coffee cart. This all started with a little idea that I saw on social media, actually, in a video of another teacher doing this with their kids. And I immediately sent the video to some of my teacher friends. I was like, we need to do this at Barca. So I went to Mr. Brown. I walked into his office. I was like, I'm sorry, I have a wild idea, but can we do this? And he was like, absolutely. So we started. I took some volunteers, kids who wanted to participate in the coffee cart, and we schedule deliveries each month. You can see this is the first group of kids that that delivered the month of October. So, and then, oh, that's okay. So the very first step in the process, actually, I went to one of my students, Joe, and we kind of like started the whole process together, and we were like, how can we get all of this coffee and things to deliver to the teachers? So her and I formulated some letters to different local coffee shops, and then her and another student decorated the envelopes, and then I went and delivered those to some of the local coffee shops. Unfortunately, we haven't heard back from any, but we did do it, so we sent them out. So yes, and then we send a Google form out each month to the staff members, and they can fill out they can order their type of coffee or tea. So different things like the type of coffee, regular or decaf. Joe was one of the people also who helped me figure out the flavors. I go, what flavors are popular in coffee? So we went with mocha, vanilla, and caramel. Then we have sugar offered, and then we offer different types of milk. And the big thing is we wanted to make it so that we were giving back something to the teachers and help the kids like be part of that process. So we really wanted to make sure that the teachers weren't paying anything for it, and that we were still doing academics with it. So we use Barca money. So they are practicing counting money there while they're waiting, getting orders in. We are practicing making change, counting money, making different denominations of money, that type of thing. So. And then this one right here is just some of the prep work that they have to do each month. So they have to put stickers on different cups because they're all like have the sticker that says Barca Coffee Cart. They have to fill out receipts. For each of you, you'll see when you get the receipts that it has your name, what you ordered, how much it is. They have to pre-package all of the money and write the names on the little baggies, and then put them in the mailboxes. They all fought over who got to put Mr. Brown's money in the mailbox, and Julia was the big winner of that one. So Julia got to put it in Mr. Brown's mailbox that time. So that's her doing that. And then, so there's a list of ingredients and steps in the process. So they're learning how to follow different steps in order and follow, make sure they're practicing good hygiene and those type of things while they're making these coffees, and not using, for example, not using the same stirrer stick in what coffee you use for one person, that sort of thing. So there was a couple of other adults or staff members that helped me with the first round of the coffee cart. So this is them making the stuff. And that's only half of the coffees that were on the cart, by the way. So our opening day, or our grand opening, we had 38 orders, and we made how much money? Do you guys remember?
We made
117. Woo! Yes, we made $117 in Barca cash because it was $115. But how much did we get in tips? Do you remember?
We got 5
Close.
tips. 4.
Two. We got $2 in tips. So we got $2 in tips. So they were in charge of figuring that out. We spent 2 days trying to figure out how much money, and this was their way of counting the money. So we took $3, and they used each of the tile squares and put the money in for 38 different things. Yeah, I know. And then but you counted it all.
I was the one who counted it all.
I think. All right. And then so the coffee cart does a lot of things, not just practicing math skills, but how to communicate with others. So some of our kids learning certain life skills, like what do you say when you hand somebody their change? Like you should count back their change, that type of thing. How to make sure you're keeping a clean area, working together to achieve a common goal, and also just providing kids with that sense of worth and like feeling like they belong to something and part of the community was really important. Fun fact, we actually have 2 kiddos that are from Derry Village, or were from Derry Village last year, and they came to Barca, and 2 kids from Barca that were at Barca last year who are here this year. So it's like a mixture of us all coming together and being one like big family. So yeah. And that's it. Any questions?
I don't have a question, more of a statement. I think the Barker teachers need to up their tip amounts. $2 on $115. These kids are working hard, it looks like. So, yeah, no, it's not. No, so I hope you guys press the teachers a little bit more and squeeze them for a little bit more Barca cash next time.
Yeah, we need more tips. Maybe we need to make a tip jar.
Yes. We need more tips. We need more tips. Yes.
This sounds like a really cool program. You guys are getting to learn a lot, how to handle money and math and things like that. And every teacher I know loves coffee. So I'm sure the idea of having a coffee delivered to them in the morning is fantastic. I know my wife would love that.
So could each of you come to the microphone, tell us what your name is, and tell us what you've learned the most from this, or what you like the most about doing this?
My name is Julia, and what I learned the most about of the coffee cart is that it's like you have to pay attention to the coffee and what they ordered, because some people mix up their orders, so you have to pay attention to their little note to their thing. name's Preston. It's really fun to do it. My name is Joe, and my favorite thing about the coffee cart is having fun and learning a bunch of stuff. My name is Willow, and it was really fun to do this.
Well, I think you did a fantastic job. I can't wait to spend some of my Barker bucks.
They gave you $100. They specifically made sure you got the $100 bill. Yes.
Preston did it. Preston did it.
Yeah, it was Preston's
Preston
idea.
did it. Preston did all the money, not me.
All right, let's go serve the coffee.
Yay!
Make sure you guys get a good tip from him.
She wanted to do yours specifically.
Thank you. You are all set. You. Wow. Big spender.
If only we all had that much money. I'm gonna reserve my tip until I try it. All right. You guys said it was better than Starbucks.
It's not the right color.
Oh, look at that! See, look at that! See, I even got a straw. I even got a straw.
Is that a refresher?
This is a nice tea with 3 sugars. I even got that right. You can keep it. I was gonna ask for a lemon.
That's asking a lot. We've got 100 too.
They know how to grease the wheel.
See the Grand Pecking Order.
Yeah, I agree.
I did, yes, sir. Thank you.
Oh, you actually got the chicken. You get stickers too?
I did Dancy Dollars.
Even bigger tip now.
Had my picture on it. I found one a couple months ago. I had to give it to the grandkids.
I need that.
Thank you.
I'm not so back in the 90s I was using those. Till I found out the kids were using it to gamble with. And then I quit doing the game. Oh, wow, thank you.
I'm good, thank you. Appreciate it, Preston.
I did not. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah. Water's $8.
I need that reminder every time. You make it.
Oh,
I
it's
need this
free.
reminder
That's a
every
free
meeting. I
nominee.
need it.
Hmm?
Thank you.
Oh, that's right.
These are great. It was
Mine looked like 8.
better than that.
I know I'm very
You're welcome.
Mine was pure water. Oh, thank you very much. Here's your tip. Oh, thank you.
This is a good idea. I like this. Yeah.
No, I think we're good on straws.
The mobile order.
Yeah, let's do gas money for the ride home. Thank you very much.
I just want to say, Ms. Clark, former Derry Cooperative School District student, former Gilbert H. Hooder, and look at her now, one of the most enthusiastic teachers that you can find. Isn't she great, guys? Let's give her a round of applause.
Guys, thank you very much for coming in tonight and sharing with us. Very nice and very good. Have a good night, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda, we have delegations, individuals. Anyone want to come up for 3 minutes and give the spiel, name and address for the record?
This is a little different perspective, me being on the other end of this, but Brian Giricello, Rollins Street, Derry. First off, I want to say that presentation was great. I loved every minute of it. I think that it's got a lot of value, so happy to see that. I don't know if this is a back and forth. If you don't want to do a back and forth, that's fine too. I just want to get some clarification. My understanding is we'll be voting in March on a school budget, a teacher's contract, and a $25 million bond, I believe. And is the bond vote already, is that solid, 25 million? Has that been decided fully that that's going to be moved forward? Okay. Yeah, all right, so, and I apologize because I don't know all the pieces. So I thought a couple of years ago, the school board, and I don't know who the membership was at the time, but there was discussion of closing 2 schools, Derry Village and South Range. And then we had the vote. We had a non-binding question, but I don't recall the school board making any solid plans as to whether they were going to close both schools, one school. I don't know if there was a decision made. Maybe you can enlighten me on that. My concern is this. I came, and I'm trying to just set the tone the right way. I came last year, I recommended a smaller bond. And that didn't go anywhere. And so last year we saw what happened. We saw what happened last year. We put too much money on there for the bonds and everything else, and it failed, unfortunately, and everything got delayed. And then you guys had to make cuts. I'm just nervous that because the teacher's contract is at an impasse, I believe. So we've got question marks. I don't know what that's going to bring. So I have concerns there. I did watch one of the budget meetings. I don't know, I didn't follow completely. I don't know what the number is, if that has been decided yet, but, so I can't calculate what I could possibly be taxed, so it's tough. I'm sorry that Katie DeLay's not here, because when the discussion about bonds came, she was the only person that said that we should split the bonds, and I agree with her. I do think, because South Range is still out there, and when I looked at all of the repairs, it looked to me as if the repairs for South Range was the most. It was $10 million. So I'm just nervous that you're not going to pass anything again, and you're going to be 2 years in the hole, and that would be sad. So what I would, and I'm only saying this because I've heard sometimes you've said to people, well, why don't you let us know what you think? So I'm letting you know what I think. I think you hold off on the South Range School. Do a $14 million bond this year. Don't do the repairs on South Range, okay, until next year. Get past the teachers. We all know all the people at Derry have always been supportive of the employees, always. So, but we don't know what that number is. So I think you have a better chance if you delay South Range repairs for 1 extra year. That means you pass a smaller bond, you get all the other schools fixed, get the teachers' contract situated and the budget situated. Next year, come back to South Range. If that's the plan, I don't know. Because I haven't heard anything different, whether you're going to take that school down or you're not going to take that school down. So I'll let you answer if you want. It's up to you.
I'll wait till the end I'll wait till the end to address your questions.
Okay, I'm done. So
Yeah, no, I mean, if anyone else in the audience wants to speak, I'll wait till after the end. So it'll be right after that. I'll address it.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cochran, 8 Dexter Street. I unfortunately will not be able to make this coming Tuesday's budget meeting, but had some concerns I wanted to mention and hope that maybe they could be discussed on the upcoming budget meeting. I found the warrant articles on the town website for the past years, and I had looked at them. With a lot of the members having it be their first year on the fiscal advisory, I think it would be helpful to discuss why the budget has increased almost $9 million in a 2-year time frame. During that time frame, a school was also closed, and we were told it saved $2 to $3 million. It was also told that most of the savings from closing a school were reallocated, which if they were reallocated, that would make it roughly an $11 to $12 million increase on the budget in 2 years. I quickly wrote all of the amounts down because I'm like a visual person and I have to see it. So you can kind of see the years, like it didn't go up that much. It went up 2, went up roughly 5, went up another 4, and this is where we're at now. In order for me to be able to stand behind a proposed budget number, I need to clearly understand why we have had this big of an increase during those 2 years. I have asked for budget books of the past to see if I can figure out where the increase was myself, and I am still trying to look into this, but I was hoping I could maybe meet with Jane. I also saw a new budget list that was emailed tonight, and it looks like it's down now to $97 million for the proposed budget, if I read that right, which seems like a big drop from the 103. So I'm not sure how we have that big of a flexibility window. And my next concern is in regards to the bond. I am not trying to ruffle anyone's feathers here, but I feel it's a valid concern. We were told that all facility meetings would be recorded, but the August 21st meeting was not. That meeting did have more members of the public attending, so I am sure that someone can confirm what I am about to mention. At that meeting, David, you said it makes no sense why we kept South Range open. In Austin, you agreed, but said we had to keep moving forward. This is a concern to me since when viewing the list of things for the bond, almost 50% of it is going towards a decision that didn't make sense. And that's concerning to me because I feel like it's gonna fail. And I need to know if we have some sort of backup plan in case that bond does not pass, so we at least have money for the immediate attention that West Runningbrook needs. So any clarity on these things would be greatly appreciated, and I apologize if they are silly concerns, but I am trying to learn as I go. That's it.
All right, so I'll take a minute to address the several questions that were asked. So Brian, right now, and we'll be discussing more tonight, it's at 24.6, which is an addition that we're going to discuss tonight. So that's not approved. We approved 24.3 officially back a few meetings ago, 6 to 1, like you said. And with that, so with regards to the school closure, you're correct. The original plan was to close Derry Village and South Range and build a new school in the Derry Village property. That was my first year on the board, so that was 2022. And then that never materialized until last year, where we had the vote that we lost 80-20. 80%, 20% we lost for that project. So with that being said, coming out of that vote, the committee felt that we are light years apart of trying to get a new school built, right? So the committee focused their attention on South Range and trying to figure out how do we get that school to a place where we're good from a facility, a building envelope, roof, and whatnot perspective. And just to say, on that $24.3 million bond, that's all you're getting in this bond is roofs, building envelope, anything to do with the outside of the building to keep it good moving forward. We're not attacking anything inside except for South Range HVAC. That's the only one thing from the inside perspective. But everything else from the inside is not getting done in this bond. It's strictly outside building envelope kind of stuff. And since we're talking about South Range, I was very vocal in my first year on the facilities committee regarding putting money into two schools that need $10 to $30 million worth of work. That's no secret. I've shouted that from every rooftop I could in every meeting that I could. Things do change, and ultimately, when you lose 80-20, yeah, do I want to put $10 million in? $10 million to start, and more probably later on. That's not good financial sense. But in a binding vote, the town said we cannot afford that new school. So, and South Range is beyond the point of kicking it down the road any further. We're past that point. We're through the wall. So yeah, I said that. Sure, I said that August 21st meeting. I don't want to put that kind of money in South Range, but the people of Derry spoke in a binding vote, and I have to respect that in this case. And do I still think it's the right thing to do? No, but it's what we were told was what the town wanted in pretty blatant terms, right? So that's that. My feeling on that. I won't speak for these guys regarding that particular discussion on South Range. Yes, now I'm committed to getting it to a place we need this school. We need South Range, and we at this point, yeah. Do I want to put 50% of the bond money or whatever it is, 55% of the bond money into one school? No, but it's what's needed to keep the school going and get it on a path of longevity. Because let's face it, to bridge an 80-20 gap is going to take a long time. So the expectation is, at least we talked about this facility, is South Range is going to be a long-term in our district. We're not going to put $10 million in and say 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, sorry, you can't. The decision's been made. I think if this bond passes, the decision has been made for a long-term solution with only one school closure in the foreseeable future. I think I got everything there. So what I will address is the budget. Yeah, Elizabeth, yes, I would sit with Jane and go through those earlier years that you have on your schedule. And I would look at those because I agree with you. And we've made that point in fiscal advisory year over year that we're on a path of unsustainability. What I will say is, when you reference the closure of Derry Village, the savings is recognized in the budget we're working on right now. You will not see any savings from last year or the previous year. We closed the school. The school is closed effective this fiscal year. So you'll see the savings next year. And I actually encourage people to, we'll have more harder numbers on Tuesday, but people are going to be surprised at what they see, assuming things shake out with adequacy, which we'll find out tomorrow what our adequacy number is. I think I hope we're going to be pleasantly surprised at where we're at, even with adding the teacher contract into the number that we have right now. The number's public, so it's been handed off for the meeting on Tuesday. So, I think people will be pleasantly surprised unless there's something that comes up that we're not expecting. So, we'll talk more about that on Tuesday. I won't talk about that now because I want to make sure we have everything that we need to have that discussion, which we're waiting on tomorrow's adequacy number, and right now we have a flat adequacy, so we want to make sure we have the right number, and then we can start really talking about where we're at and where we want to be. So that's what I would say about the budget. There's a variety of reasons why the budget is the way it is in those particular years, and I know Jane will definitely sit with Elizabeth. She's on fiscal advisory, and go through those, and we can have a brief conversation on Tuesday as well on the details regarding that. Did I hit everything? Brian, did I hit everything? Yeah, okay. All right, so I don't know if anybody has anything to add that I might have missed or overlooked. Feel free.
I would just remember, too, that when you're looking back at past budget years, if you're just looking at the amount of the budget in years where the teacher's contract is on the ballot, the increases from the teacher's contract aren't in the budget. So if you're only looking at that number, there's going to be a year where the teacher's contract is a separate warrant article. That money is separated out.
So the one thing I will share this number. It is an estimate that we'll be sharing on Tuesday. It will change with adequacy. As of right now, when you don't count the teachers' contracts, because the budget doesn't have it right now, that we're working off of, the estimated tax impact, the actual to actual, not default, we're talking, is right now at a 1 cent decrease. So we only had 2 meetings, so obviously this is shared, everyone has it, so I'm not telling you anything, I'm not giving any proprietary information here, so it's out there. So there's more to come, so there's more discussion to have. So we'll keep having those discussions. We have a meeting on Tuesday. I think we have a couple more after that. So that we'll build and to your point, Brian, we'll have a lot of the information and plenty of time before people have to make their decisions, and hopefully before the public hearing as well, in case people want to have a conversation there as well. But to Brian's point, I encourage people, Brian makes good comments. If you want to have those comments, bring them to the next board meeting, November 25th, and the following one is probably the second Tuesday in December, 10th. So keep bringing those points up. And what I will say, Brian, too, that I forgot, yes, you're right, $38 million failed, didn't get 60%. It did get a majority vote at 52%. And, there was a lot of discussion at the board level. That meeting we had, a really deep discussion. You got to remember, we chopped that number by a third now. We took a third, $13 million off from that 38. To me, that I look at that as a big concession, and a lot of people on the board expressed those concerns that was a big concession. We heard people. It may not be enough for some, and granted, I've heard, hear from you, I heard from a couple other people that they want it lower, but 33% cut is nothing to sneeze at, and I think that's a huge concession when you consider the items that are being bypassed that need to be done and that have to wait now. And we'll talk about capital reserves and all that in the future, and just try to start building those up. So I think that's all I got to say on that. Unless, I don't know, we're all good. hopefully I answered everything. If not, feel free to give me a buzz. You got my number, or email, whatever. We can discuss more detail at that time. But I do appreciate Brian you coming. No, you're done. We're all done. No one else did, so I ended it. I ended it. Now I'm answering the question. So we're gonna move on. But I encourage people to come to the 25th meeting or reach out to me via email, phone call, whatever works for you guys. All right, next on the agenda, we have the Pinkerton update from Mr. Henry.
Thank you, and welcome to our new member. The building is still on time and on budget, so we're going to be seeing that open really soon. The Start Time Committee will meet again this month. The Veterans Day breakfast was this past Monday from, well, it already happened, but it was 7 to 9. It went really well. We had a lot of people from the community there, and it was great to, just give thanks to our veterans. The sophomore semi-formal dance is Saturday, November 16th, this Saturday. The winter play has been announced. It is Eurydice. It will be December 6th through the 8th at the Stockbridge. And there's a few more winter concerts. The instrumental holiday concerts, the 11th of December, and the choral and bell choir holiday concert is the 12th. And the Alan Shepard portrait that was painted of Alan Shepard, I believe, 50 or 60-something years ago, was finally restored. It was presented, I believe, a day or two ago in the the Shepard Auditorium, and it is now on display at Pinkerton. So that was really cool to see that finally get restored.
Nice.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Hey, Anthony. Also, I would call it the girls' soccer team. They won the championship last Saturday.
They did.
As well as the girls' volleyball team came in second place. Tough loss for them, but good year for them as well. So
It's been a good year for sports at Pinkerton so far. And hopefully we'll get a three-peat with basketball later on.
Nice. No, it's been a banner a couple of years for Pinkerton. Baseball the previous year. It's great. All right, so next charter school update. Miss Kyle couldn't make it tonight. She had a commitment that she couldn't miss. So next up, we have Emily Whalen for next charter school grant discussion.
Good evening, everybody. I know most of you. Hello, welcome. My name's Emily Whalen. I'm the director at Next Charter School. We're actually in our 12th year, so we've had this partnership going on for quite a long time. I'm here with Will Gowan, who is our newest full-time employee. I wanted to talk to you tonight about a grant that we recently received. So three factors came into play over the last year or so. First, we're fully enrolled. We're actually over-enrolled by a little bit. We started with 30 students back in 2013. We currently are at 80 students. We have a really strong student body. Second, the state of New Hampshire charter school program was running their final competitive grant competition. It's how they award federal funding to charter schools for either starting a new school, replicating an existing school, or expanding an existing school. So fully enrolled, final year for a grant competition. And those of you that have been to our space at Next, maybe you know that we occupy the bottom floor of Gilbert H. Hood Middle School, and adjacent to our space is some unfinished locker room space. If any of you went to Hood, maybe you showered down there or played gym down there, maybe you carved your name on the wall down there, I don't know. It's unusable right now, and it's actually at a mezzanine level, so it's not ADA accessible, which means it really isn't useful to the school. So with those three things, last year I was able to apply for grant funding, and we were recently awarded $550,000 to complete an expansion project over the next few years. So with that, the goal of that project is to increase our enrollment to 100, which is a pretty, it's 20 kids is a small number, but percentage-wise, that's a big increase, which means we need some more space. This grant funding is going to allow us to hopefully complete that project. We wanted to share that with you because this is your building and we work together. Tonight, our questions really are, what questions do you have for us? And when do you want us to come back? How involved? And what do you want to know about this project? I'm going to turn it over to Will just to give you a quick update about what we hope to do and what we've already done. And then we'll be happy to take your questions.
Hi, everyone. The core pieces to the grant and what we're going to be doing is increased enrollment and increased physical space for the school. So those are the two core goals. There are some sub-goals that we're going to be trying to tackle in the expanded space. And a quick note about the grant that we got, it is specifically to get us a certificate of occupancy in the expanded space. So anything that gets us to use the space, that is what will be covered by the grant. And in that space, we are hoping to have renovate the bathroom space that was down there. Maybe you know of this bathroom, but we're going to try to have it be a multifunctional bathroom space that will be a family and support center. We have a number of students who unfortunately struggle with homelessness, and a space for them to both shower and wash and dry their clothes. We want to install in that space. We would like to install a media lab somewhere in the expansion space. We are in contact with the local organization DerryCAM to coordinate design for that. We want to have additional classroom space. We've mapped out an area that could be another additional classroom space in addition to the 6 that we currently have, and additional transportation options. We've got one trusty van right now, and we'd like to purchase another, and we'll hopefully be moving on that soon. We've been taking steps already to the initial stages of the process, meeting with an architect. We met with Rob from Dairy Facilities to walk through the space, kind of see what's possible, what systems can be expanded, and yeah, we're really excited to kind of get going. We're hopefully going to be getting plans back soon, and we're excited to work with you all, be able to kind of work through all the steps and let us know when you need us back to share the next steps.
That's it. You have any questions?
No, I think it's great. Obviously, what I would say is, next steps from a discussion perspective, work with Austin, work with Joe on the finer details, the administration at the school, if that's applicable. And then once you guys are in a good place, yeah, definitely come back for a presentation. And I assume we need some sort of vote to allow it or change the wording in the MOU, right? Or whatever the case may be. And now we'll go from there. I mean, if that works for you guys, I mean.
Yeah, I think that makes great sense. For history, we've renovated this space. I shouldn't say we anymore. Next has renovated this space in the past. And we've typically worked pretty closely with Derry, with Jane, the facilities team. The architect that Next has worked with in the past is Marinese Architects, who have done all the drawings for the Derry School District. So I feel pretty confident that we've gone through this process before. So coming back with some drawings and some kind of conceptual sort of understanding of the space, maybe some raw pictures because the before pictures are, for those of us who did go to Gilbert H. Hood, Hood Memorial Junior High School, we know what that space looks like, and many of you have probably been up in that space. So it's pretty remarkable what it can become. So yeah, super exciting. Happy to work with these guys.
And I was just wondering, at this point, do you have a timeline or are we too far out?
Done by January 1st. No, I'm just
You guys are good.
No, I mean, as soon as possible. One good thing about this space is it's not currently occupied, so we can actually do some work in it during the school year. The grant is an 18-month planning grant, but there's an 18-month extension. So the grant, we have to spend all the money within 3 years. I really hope it doesn't take that long. Once we start to reach out to, construction companies, I think that will really be the thing that lets us know how long it's going to take. Yeah.
I would say that next school year would be for the increased enrollment and the increased physical space is a big I don't know. I think that's where the communication line here will be important. And maybe if we were to throw maybe school year 26-27 for the increased enrollment, we might do more of a slow increase. I think it will depend on the movement of the project in the structural space that we're going to be exploring.
I think another bit of good context is just prior to the pandemic, we had started an participatory process to do this expansion. I think at that time I still worked at Next, and we came here to West Running Brook and presented. And as part of that process, we did some initial. We actually contracted with, I think, Morin Construction, who's done some work with us to do some drilling and looking at like the footing and the structural engineering of that part of the building. So there's a good legwork has already been done, which is really nice. There's not a ton of unknowns. When Next did our most recent, or one of the most recent construction projects, that we did a full abatement of that area. So even the area that Next does not use, Next has already paid and had it abated. So, I mean, there still may need to be some sampling that's done in the ceilings and walls, because we didn't knock anything down when we did that. We just pulled up all the flooring, that tile, that's where a lot of the asbestos was. So that's also good news too, just to give you a little context.
All right, well, thank you. Great work in getting that grant, and we look forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Thanks.
Awesome.
See you in a couple
Take
months.
care. Have a good night. All right, superintendent search update. So Jonathan, Brenda, and I, we had a call with Scott a couple weeks ago. These guys worked together to get the job posting out. I think it went out today. And then Brenda and Jonathan worked with all the states around us to get on their job posting boards for the groups that run those states, for the School Board Association. Just some kind of updates. So on October 29th at Barca, we had Scott Fuller, who's the lead consultant on this project, was at Barca for an in-person presentation for the community and talked to people. 2 people showed up. It's disappointing. It is what it is, I guess. It gets better. I mean, it doesn't get better. Then we had a virtual meeting. He did a virtual for people who couldn't make it in person on the 7th, which was last Thursday, I think. 1 person and 2 teachers showed up. So that's disappointing. I know people are busy. Even the survey numbers weren't great, but it is what it is. We'll push on. The one thing we do have the expectations of getting the committee together by the first week of December. Scott gave us a template and some ideas on how to do that and who to include and how many people to include and what the next steps are. So I'll be working with these guys over here next week to get that process started. And I think I forget how many community members were on the list, but we'll get that out there so people can know what it is, and there'll be a worksheet to fill out to if people want to volunteer to be on the committee. So more to come on that, but the expectation is that kind of work will start the 1st or 2nd week of December. And then, from now till I think the New Year's, right? They'll start getting candidates, and hopefully, I talked to him. We emailed today, and there's already interest out there. People have already expressed interest, kind of into the district. So we'll see how that plays out as we move forward.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think from now until January 5th is the application deadline, and then obviously I think we're gonna start that the community committee work, but that's just kind of, here's some information, there's going to be a training that we're going to do, but obviously that work doesn't really get started until January, because once the candidate pool closes, and then we'll start doing the interviews and that. So I would say, if you're in the community and you're interested in getting involved in this process, we welcome everyone to participate. It's actually funny, I was talking to a Cub Scout troop right before the meeting, and I think community involvement is what makes communities great. So I think the most important decision that we make as a school board is who we decide to have lead our district. So if you want to be involved in that process, you want to have some input, please get involved. Please share your feedback, your opinions. And that's, again, the best way in which to get involved. So please come out. Yeah, like David said, we've reached out to and gotten, all the neighboring states, Maine, Vermont, Mass, Connecticut. Still waiting on a response from Rhode Island. So that's the only one that we don't have as far as getting the listing out there. yeah, looking forward to the process, and yeah, that's it.
All right, awesome. Y'all good? Okay. All right, so we have facilities. So facility committee met on Tuesday this week. So some of the discussion at the budget meeting the prior week was on some projects that we were gonna talk about putting in the budget. But one of the ones that we discussed at the facilities meeting was the roof drains. I know there was a big discussion on that last week at the budget meeting. So the recommendation from the committee, and Jane's provided the paperwork to update the information, is to add the roof drains to the bond. And this is in the spirit of everything on this bond, as I just said earlier, is related to building envelope, roofs, and whatnot. You know, and we just put a new roof in West Runningbrook, so I mean, I think it's prudent to, the committee and I personally think it's prudent to add the $288,000 to the bond for a school that we just put a new roof on, and we want to, you know, I think it's, the options discussed at the budget meeting were more of a, temporary is the wrong word, but it was a 10-year fix, basically, which I, in my opinion, didn't make sense. But, so that's the only change to this worksheet. So instead of 24.3 million that we voted on previously, it's at 24.6 million now. And Jane provided all the amortization schedules for bonds. So there's kind of two things I'm hoping we can kind of hash out right now. Are we good with adding the $300,000 to this bond? And the second one is, do we want a 15 or 20-year bond? Because Jane has to work with the bond bank, the lawyers, and we're at November 14th. So I don't think this can wait till the 25th. And I think this isn't a heavy lift. We've been talking about this for months, so I think we can come to a consensus on this. So I will open up the floor. I think, you know, the first question is, do we want to add the 300 in? Then the next question is, do we want 15 or 20 years for the bond? And the numbers, the numbers have changed a little bit since, with the town assessments changing, the numbers have gotten a little better on these amortization schedules than what we previously had. So that's good news. And I'm still hopeful the interest rate will come down by the time this comes to fruition. So I won't read you the numbers. It's on the sheet, obviously. So I'll open the floor up to discuss, do we want to add the roof drains? And we'll start there.
David, I'd agree on adding these into the warrant. We've talked so much about facilities over the board as a whole, over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And something that's been a recurring theme over the years and going back 10, 15, 20 years is finding ways to maybe take shortcuts and save a few bucks here or there for the sake of just getting a project done and maybe saving some money. I think we just invested money into the roof. We're talking about facades and envelopes and windows. It's great that ARM was able to identify this issue. I think it's fiscally responsible, right? And we have kind of an obligation, a duty to conduct and complete the project and the repair fully and complete. So I would be in favor of adding this back in to the warrant. And as we talked about last year, I would be also in favor of a 15-year bond. It's about $3 million savings in interest. Obviously a bit higher on the tax impact, but savings long-term. Again, we talk about fiscal responsibility and doing what's right. The shorter note for me makes sense.
To give a little background on the roof drains, this is a problem that we didn't even know was a problem until they installed the new roof over the summer. So, you know, when we were talking about capital improvements last year, this is one of those problems we didn't even know that we had. So I don't remember how many drains were damaged in the installation of the roof that they replaced. Just one. But I think we realized that these were installed incorrectly back in 1995, and I think it's a rubber coupling, right? And they basically rotted out. And so there's a temporary fix that we had talked about that was $39,000. It would bypass the drain, but it's a temporary fix. It's a fix that's only rated for 1 year in Massachusetts. There's no limitation here, but it has an estimated lifespan of 10 years. What we had talked about doing through the budget was replacing, there's 52 drains on the roof of West Running Brook. You'd be replacing them at a rate of 5 per year. So it's essentially a 10-year project. You'd be pushing the limit of that bypass to the max. And there's also the issue of, cost escalations over the course of 10 years. We know how much it's going to cost to replace the drains today, but as the years go on, if you're replacing these piecemeal over the course of 10 years, it could end up costing a lot more than it would cost to just do it all right now. And when you look at the cost of 40 grand to do the bypass, that's a temporary fix. You're still gonna have to replace all the drains over a 10-year period, and you're also spending 40 grand for a temporary fix to get you the time to do it. So to me, this year where we're looking at a bond for capital improvements, and this project is in the spirit of improvements to the envelope, roof, things like that, I think it makes sense to add this project into the bond.
Yeah, I would echo those sentiments from Michael and Jason as well. My preference would actually be a 20-year bond, just because of limiting the tax impact. I understand it's going to be a larger dollar amount, but it is about 6 cents per year that it is, and I think it's just just my own personal preference, and I think there's been some sentiments have been made before by other people in the town that it just makes sense to do a longer term bond to spread out the costs and to reduce that tax impact. So that would be my preference, but it's not a strong one.
All right, then. So let's first vote on adding the roof drains. We'll talk about the bond right after. So I would accept a motion to add the roof drains to the bond currently.
I would make a motion to add $288,650 to the capital improvement bond for the replacement of the roof drains at West Running Brook.
All right, we have a first by Michael, second by Jason. We'll take a roll call vote. Jen, are you comfortable, or do you want to wait? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, I got to know how to use the microphone first. I've been sitting on fiscal. I agreed with what Michael said. I think that it only makes sense to add that into the bond. This was something that was discussed at the last fiscal meeting, so I think I can vote on this one.
Okay. All right. Well, you're up. You go first. Yay.
Yes.
All right, Jason? Yes. Jonathan?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 5-0. All right, next discussion is on the length of the bond. So let me give a little information so we got people in the audience here. So 15-year bond, both bonds will be $24.6 million. I'll give you, it's $24,601,951. The 15-year bond is estimated to be a 3.46% interest rate. That's as of today. God willing, the interest rates come down the next year. Hopefully we'll see that number come down as well, but that's where we stand as of today. The 20-year bond is an interest rate of 3.75. Year one in both bonds is 11 cents impact, and that's interest only. That's how all bonds are structured from this particular municipal bank. And the 15-year bond starts at 44 cents and then cascades down to 30 cents in the last year. You gain about a cent decrease every year that you pay down the bond. The 20-year bond, as Jonathan alluded to, is 6 cents cheaper in the second year. In the second year of payment, at 38 cents it starts at. In the same deal, it cascades down about a cent a year to 23 cents at the time of the last year of the bond. So those are and then the interest payments on the 15-year bond is hovering around $7 million. So the total all-in cost, it would be $31.6 million all in. On the 20-year bond, the interest is $9.8 million, so about a $3 million increase, and the total cost of that bond would be $34.4 million. So like I said, it's about call it $3 million difference between 5 years. And like I said, hopefully, because the very first time we looked at it, we were in the 2s last year when we did this. So let's hope we can get there again. So that obviously saves some money as well. So I'll open up for any discussion on this. I'll start. I'm actually, I prefer to do the 15 years, frankly. I think $3 million is a lot in interest. 6 cents is, money. It is what 6 cents is nothing to sneeze at, but I think, remember a lot of these projects that we're doing have 20 to 25 year lives. So, I'd rather hopefully pay it off before you have to start doing these over again. So I would support a 15-year bond at this point in time.
I would agree also, David. I would support a 15-year bond for the same reasons.
I think Jason gave his opinion, Jonathan did, so Michael, I mean, it's up to, I don't know if you have anything to say. If not, I can.
I think we went with the shorter term bond last year, and I'm of the same opinion this year. It is a little bit more on the tax rate, but it gets it off the books quicker, and it's less money over the term of the bond.
Okay. If there's not any questions, I would accept a motion to do a 15-year bond at $24,601,951.
So moved.
First by Jason.
Second.
Second by, I guess I made the motion, didn't I? Whatever. Second by Michael. So to roll call vote, we got Jen. Jason.
Yes.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Michael.
Yes.
Board chair votes yes. So the motion passes 5-0. All right. Obviously, between now and the public, so this doesn't have to be the end. If stuff comes up or we want to have more discussion, we have time to do what we got to do. But obviously, this gives Jane what she needs to move forward with the bond bank and the lawyers and do all that good work that goes along with that. Obviously, this has to go through the public hearing and then the deliberative. So this is kind of but for all intents and purposes, I guess this is where we're going to land, and we'll move forward.
David, do you mind if I add something else? So I think you were about to say this, but just for informative reason or information, we have 4 meetings until the deliberative session. So keep that in mind. We have 6 meetings until the election after tonight. If you look back last year at this time, we actually already had the forum at DVS. So I do think we need to pick up the pace as far as how we are going to inform the public and get the word out. I think we need to be hammering that home, and we need to get out to as many people as possible. So my hope is that the facilities committee is working on that and bring some tangible items that we can work on, whether that's hosting again forums or doing some sort of reach out or communication plan. Again, we don't have as much time as we think we do. Obviously, Thanksgiving is just in a couple weeks. The holidays are right after that as well. And obviously, I also understand we also have 3 more budget meetings that we have. So there's a lot going on, but this is, I think, a huge priority, or one of our top priorities that we need to be focusing on. So I would just like to see a little bit more, I guess, a sense of urgency around that. It's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we have a meeting on December 4th to hash out that plan. The administration's already started that process. So we will hone in on that, what they've provided already, and come to the December 10th board meeting with a in-depth discussion, and we'll talk through that at that meeting, and then we can figure out the approach moving forward. And so I expect we'll be in pretty good shape, and we should have plenty of time to really get the message out and work with the community on this important topic. So it's a good question, a good point. So the one other thing I would say is the other recommendation we made out of the committee is regarding from the budget discussions last week. There was a discussion on the stairs at Gilbert H. Hood. I think that was taken out of the budget, if I remember properly. Our recommendation at the facilities meeting was, and this is more of a discussion on Tuesday, but I'll bring it up here just so everyone's aware, is to put that back in the budget and go from there and look at that as part of the budget. So we'll have that discussion there, but I just wanted to kind of give everyone a heads up. That was discussed at the facilities meeting as well. And then one last thing on facilities, unless I missed something. So on Election Day, actually, we had a walkthrough of Derry Village with members of Marion Garish Board, Sarah Garvin as well, the executive director, and Mike Fowler from the town. And I can't remember the lady's name from Upper Room. Brenda, what's it? Oh, Brenda Gugensberg from Upper Room. They just want to take a tour like the public has been taking. You know, they have ideas. They're trying to find space for themselves and figure out how to move forward. So Jeremy and Rob walked them through the building, and they could take notes and understand. And they've requested information from James. I just want to make sure I told everybody that happened on the election day. It was really exploratory. I wouldn't read anything into it at this point in time. It's very, very early. You know, the one thing I did mention, we've talked in facilities about SAU possibilities down the road to explore, but the one thing I did make clear to everyone at the meeting is priority number one is getting this bond passed, and we can look at Derry Village after the election and figure out what the next steps are. Because I know Katie's been pretty vocal about, you know, having a long-term plan for Derry Village, which we all agree, but at the same time, I think the bond is priority one. Let's get that passed, and then we move forward with Derry Village and what to do, and how to pay for it, which is the tough part. So I just kind of want to give everyone a heads up on that. Oh, yes. Hey, Jane, so in the budget right now, we have utilities at 22,000, I think, or somewhere in that ballpark. We had a conversation about if we shut the whole building down and not have to have any carrying costs, what would that mean? But obviously you can't do that. We have electricity concerns with security, and, you know, I'm by far not a maintenance guy, and if you flush all those drains and shut everything down, who knows if they'll even start up again someday if they ever need to be started up. So I think at this point in time, you're going to take a harder look at that number, see if there's any room to bring it down a little bit, and we'll talk Tuesday maybe on that. But we discussed that as well at the facilities meeting. I will say, when Jane first brought this estimate to us last year, it was at 60,000 to carry Derry Village. Now we're at 22, so it's pretty good. What they've done and what they've been able to figure out to do is good. It brings down the carrying cost to a very minimal level. So, you know, we'll talk more Tuesday if there's any more wiggle room from 22 downwards and what they can do to make that work.
Yeah, and in a situation where we don't know what the future of the building is, it's really the only option. You know, with the state of the building, if we were to completely shut it down, that could be it.
I think it's a win from 60 to 20, so we'll talk more Tuesday, but I think that was everything we discussed. I don't know if any other questions from the board. If not, we can move on to Jane's business update. All right, Jane, you're up.
Okay. One of the things I would like to talk about, and I'll talk about it again on Tuesday night for the budget meeting, is special education aid. And I'm bringing that because most recently we just received an email from the Commissioner of Education, actually on November 12th. And what's important to know about special education aid is back in 2023, the proration amount that we were entitled to was 98.3%. And then in prior years, in 2024, it was at 87%. Our proration amount right now is, or through all districts, it's 67.5%, and even lower can go to 66%. There is just basically not enough money to go around for the amount of requests for reimbursement. And as you know, special ed aid is a reimbursement for services that we've already provided to our students. And districts who are requesting reimbursements takes a lot of work, a lot of tracking. And props to Laura and her team that do that. For the amount that she brings forward to look for reimbursement for the district, Laura's really entitled to over $2 million. I think it's close to 2.5. And so we're only entitled right now to about 66% of that. And that's what I used as my revenue number when I was doing tax rate setting. And so it's obviously really disappointing that our entitlement used to be a lot more. So when we are also looking at our budget, keep in mind that our revenues are going down in areas that our expectation is we would have had an entitlement of 87% or so what I used for tax rate setting was over $1 million, but certainly not what we were entitled to. So we're hoping that maybe it will come in higher, but I don't think so. And right now he's already sent the statement out because obviously that could impact budgets and it'll impact the budget moving forward. I want to make sure that I'm being conservative when I do our 25-26 budget, that we're still in that range. And special education aid is a reimbursement of what you spent the prior year, so you're always a year behind it, right? So I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I'm going to actually send out this information for the budget meeting for everybody to see. They have a pool of money, and the amount of special education costs and reimbursement requests are going up considerably, but not keeping up with the pool. So, and I also just wanted to remind people about, I do it at every meeting, remind people to fill out those free and reduced applications. Not only is it important for your household, and I just got done, Christina Lebelzik, our Director of Child Nutrition, brought me over an envelope with, I don't know, there were over 20 applications, so people are still filling them out, and people are still getting approved for those. It really matters for families' households, but it really also matters for the school district. When you see that adequacy number come out tomorrow, part of what's in that number makes up that calculation of the number of students who are on free and reduced. It is also a calculation for a lot of our federal funding. It ties into a lot of things. So I can't say enough for families who either feel that they are embarrassed to apply, it's confidential, they can fill it out online. Our links are on our website under food service. They can also get the link from their school. We have the paper application, so there's multiple ways to.
The signs are out at each of the schools.
We have signs that are out. I think Cliff was modeling some of the signs that were donated a couple board meetings ago. So there's multiple ways for families to apply, and like I said, the majority of those were approved based on income qualifications. So, and students don't know, their card looks the same as every other student. It entitles them to free breakfast and free lunch. If they're on reduced, it entitles them to low-cost breakfast and low-cost lunch. It's like 40 cents for breakfast. So I want to make sure that people know that those are available. And also for food service, Christine had gone to one of her meetings the other day, and she's actually got she's got really great snack bars in the schools, and all of them comply with the federal regulations they're called smart snacks. They have to meet the caloric guidelines and fat content. So, but we actually met with a vendor, and they look like a slushie, but it's 100% juice and doesn't have the dyes. And so I think she's going to be implementing those in the schools as well. So that was kind of exciting, and thinking of ways we could also generate revenue for food service by having them at some of our events. So we're pretty excited about that. And there is no cost for the machinery. You just have to buy the product. I also met with my South Central group of other business administrators in local other districts. We had our meeting, we do it monthly, and we had that yesterday. So it's always great to collaborate with your colleagues in other districts to see where everybody else is for budget and other areas. So it's really helpful, and everybody's in the same process right now of budgets. So that's really good. Maintenance, I think everybody knows where we stand right now in projects. The deep playground has been completed, and kids are loving it. I think all the staff are loving it. And as you know, just like West Runningbrook, they've got the rubberized material down. The playground looks beautiful, and we're really happy that that's been completed. And maintenance continues to work on remaining projects that they have right now and starting to plan for next year and lining up projects. Any questions for me?
Yeah, a quick one, Jane. On the special ed, you said it's a 20% reduction. Is that what it, from 87 to 66, whatever? What's that? What's the impact to us? Is that 2 million times 20%, 400,000 roughly?
Yeah, it would be somewhere around there. It's of what we're entitled to. Yeah.
Jane, question. The free and reduced lunch lunches, you mentioned the impact on parents or families. Can you just remind us what the impact on the district is for each one of those students for that applies and is approved for free lunches, and what does the district receive in that?
Do you mean as a portion of the adequate education? I will look that up and answer that in just a minute.
I feel like it's around like $2,400 per student. Is that roughly maybe somewhere at $2,000 to $2,400? I think that's that. But it's just really to highlight the point that, yeah, it's dual impact. It's an impact on the families where they're not having to spend anything or as much, as well as the district receives that money as well. And so, yeah, it's tremendously important. So please, if you, whether you think you do or don't, fill it out. You may be surprised, and that will be benefiting us as well.
All right, so Austin, we're gonna run these as second and final readings for policy. Joe, excuse me.
Yeah, just a reminder, this is second reading. We had 4 policies that we reviewed a little while back. I'm going to give you a 10, 15 second overview, and then obviously we can certainly discuss questions that people have. The first one on the list is therapy animals in schools. Just as a reminder, we do not currently have a therapy animals in schools policy. This policy was drafted by the New Hampshire School Boards Association. I think it came out this past spring, April of May. So we adopted the vast majority of this policy is verbatim from the recommended New Hampshire School Boards Association policy. We did meet as a team. We were really fortunate to have some outstanding educators that joined us who are experts because they currently have, they're from Barca, they currently have a therapy animal in place. So we took some really thoughtful feedback from them. Do you want me to go through each policy and then, or do you want to talk about them individually? Okay, so that's the overview of therapy animals. You want to, if we keep going, the next policy, which is School Board Meeting Rules of Procedure and Order, BEDDA. Again, this was a policy that we do not currently have in place. It would be a new policy. We took the language recommended from New Hampshire School Boards Association. It's largely regarding the rules of order for these meetings. It is a bit procedural, but it's necessary because this meeting has specific decorum and procedural steps. So that is BEDDA. The third policy is transportation riders, EEA. This is mostly Cliff's area, but just to save Cliff some time, I think we changed a handful of words. Very little, he thinks maybe 3 words. Very little substance was changed. We did want to clarify that we're talking about providing transportation between home and school, which I think was implied in the previous policy, but not directly stated. So we wanted to clarify that. Obviously, Cliff, if you want to add anything, okay. And the fourth policy is, so that last policy is an existing policy, just some changes. And this last one here, rental and service charges, DFB, is an existing policy. We made a number of updates to fees and procedural steps regarding the rental of our space. Jane kind of gave an overview the last time we talked about it, about some of these things haven't been changed in many years, and we wanted to make sure that our fees match the actual costs associated with renting space, which include, hiring custodians to come in after hours and Supervisor Jane, do you have anything you want to add to that? Okay. And I'm sure if you guys have questions, we can address them, but those are the 4 policies before you.
I'll make a motion to accept policy IMGB, BEDDA, EEA, and DFB.
All right, we have a first by Jonathan and a second by Jason. So Jen, on this one, you weren't here for the first reading, so we'll have you abstain if you don't mind.
Yeah, no,
on
I
those.
was going to do that anyhow.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? So I said abstentions, so you say yeah. Yes.
Yay.
Okay. All right, so motion passes 4-0-1. Thank you. So we got superintendent update.
David, do you want me to answer Jonathan's question on? Sorry, I found the answer. Just for people to know, a cost per pupil in adequate education is $4,182 per student. For any student on free or reduced, we receive an additional $2,346. So you can see how important that is for the district. We receive that on every student. We also receive $2,142 for special education students who have an IEP, and $816 for students who are English language learners. And that's on top of the $4,182.
Great, thank you. So just on those 20 you received, it's almost $50,000. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good, Austin.
Maybe we should just ask everyone to fill out a free and reduce, no matter what you're making, and then nobody's different. Everybody does it. All right, during Halloween week, I spent some quality time visiting our schools. On Halloween, I visited all of our elementary schools, once again dressed up as the grandfather from the movie Up. Supposedly, at least according to Matt Olson, I look like him already. So it was wonderful to see staff and students enjoying the special time of attending school in their Halloween costumes. Learning continued to be the priority, but it was enhanced by the fun that everyone had by participating with all of their classmates and peers and teachers in the holiday. Sometimes people feel like we have removed too much of the fun in school, but here in the Derry Cooperative School District, we believe that learning and work is enhanced when you add in fun. This past Friday, November 8th, the West Running Brook Intermediate School held its annual Veterans Breakfast. Patty Thomas took sole responsibility for the organization of this wonderful event now that Suzanne Carr is enjoying her retirement. Students in the West Running Brook Kids Care Club, under their advisor, Misan Hugo, participated in serving food and drinks, bussing tables, and speaking at the podium. Members of the chorus and band sang and played their instruments under the direction of music teacher Jody Stoll, band director Bunny Saranita, and chorus director Josh Gore. Director of Child Nutrition, Christina Lebelzik, and her staff, along with expert assistance from our business administrator, Jane Samad, and volunteers from the West Runningbrook PTSA served delicious food and drinks. 2 former West Runningbrook students who are now at Pinkerton Academy in the junior ROTC program delivered a keynote speech and gave a demonstration of competitive rifle skills. The cafeteria was filled with veterans and their families, including some of their West Runningbrook intermediate students. Thank you to all of these students, former students and staff, as well as Principal Bill Fox, his assistant principals, Kelly Carey and Alyssa Frost. Most of all, though, thank you to all of our veterans who were there and those who were not able to attend. All students formed a circle around the school and cheered as the veterans toured around the school as they were leaving, and I know each of the veterans appreciated the show of support and thanks. This past Tuesday, all schools held family and teacher conferences. I hope everyone interested in speaking with their children's teacher or teachers was able to schedule a time. This is an opportunity to see your child's school, get a better understanding of the daily schedule, and talk to teachers. Thank you to all of the family members and students who participated, and to all of our teachers, administrators, and other staff who made the conferences so worthwhile. The purpose of the 68 Hours of Hunger program is to make sure our students and families who are food insecure have food after their lunch on Friday and prior to their breakfast on that following Monday. Every Thursday, Derry Village Rotary members bring bags of food to our schools for distribution on Friday afternoon. Right now, every one of our schools and the SAU office are collecting food and monetary donations as we approach the long Thanksgiving holiday. All of our school families are aware, but I also wanted the community to know about this food drive. If you would like to donate money and/or food to this worthy cause for our families and our students, please feel free to drop off your donations at the main office in any one of our schools or at the SAU. Members of the Derry Village Rotary will pick up the donations Friday, the 22nd. And if you have any questions, please just call one of our secretaries. And I thank you in advance for your generosity. Speaking of the Thanksgiving holiday, it is only 2 weeks from today. Although it is about as late this year as it can be, it still feels like we could not be this far along in the school year already. The schedule for the Thanksgiving week is students and teaching staff and assistants have Monday the 25th and Tuesday the 26th, with trimester grades closing on that Tuesday the 26th. All students and most of the staff have Wednesdays through Friday off for a 5-day holiday break. Full-time staff work a half a day on Wednesday. I wish happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you have plenty of time for family and friends and get some well-needed rest and relaxation. Thank you.
All right. Next, unless anybody has questions, we have FYIs. Obviously, we have the November enrollment report available. If you have any questions, you can ask these guys. And next, we have committees. We'll start the manifest.
I will make a motion to approve the manifest for a grand total of $6,323,466.80. That consists of general payroll of $4,086,983.06 and general expenses of $2,236,483.74.
All right, we have a first by Jonathan.
Second.
Second by Jason. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes 5-0. Any other committees that want to talk? I guess I have one with transportation, Michael and I. So we have a meeting on Monday. Yeah, Monday. This Monday coming up. There's obviously I think from the budget meetings there was discussion on what the process will look like next year, so we can accurately budget for it. That's part of the discussion. And the second part of the discussion is going to be, we have the Ben, I forget his last name, but he's coming to our meeting on as the second half of our meeting. So the first half of the meeting, we're going to discuss, as everybody knows, we have 25 new electric buses coming on board next school year. So the thought is, you know, part of what we pay to the transportation company is maintenance costs on buses. So when you get 25 new buses, there needs to be a discussion on how do we share in the rebate, how do we share in the benefit as a district with First Student. So that will be a discussion we have. I have no details, I can't give details right now of that discussion, what it looks like, but we will have an update at our next board meeting. Actually, our budget meeting, hopefully, so we can talk through that at the budget meeting. I don't know if we'll come to an agreement that day, but at least we can talk about what the discussions were. But I think at the end of the day, it sounds like First Student's receptive to having that discussion, and I think it's only natural when you have a material change in your district or your contract, there should always be a discussion of how we work together to share in that benefit. So more to come on that. Hopefully we can figure that out and make some hay, which will only help our budget process as we move forward. So we'll see what happens with that. Yeah, so that's it for transportation. There hasn't been much meeting last couple of weeks, right? Okay, so you guys, all right, yeah, sorry. And then I mentioned with facilities is December 4th, which will be the big discussion on how we push forward. All right, other business, anybody have anything else they want to discuss?
I just wanted to, I think Austin had mentioned the Veterans Day breakfast, school visits. I had a chance to attend, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the event at East Derry, PTA event. It was a great turnout. There was tons and tons and tons of kids. It was a great night. It was great weather, so it was great. They had food trucks. They had pumpkin carving. They had a chili cook-off. They had a DJ. They had donut eating contest. They had just a bunch of stuff, and you know, everyone there. It was great to see families. It was great to see teachers there that were participating, and it's just great. I heard a great turnout also at Barca's. I think they had some sort of Halloween event as well. And so it's just, I love to see the community. I love to see people coming together. I think there's a lot of good things happening, and, you know, I'm excited for whatever's coming up here in the next few months, you know, for any event. So please, you know, I wasn't able to attend the Veterans Breakfast. I appreciate the invitation. So if you're part of a PTA, or if you are a teacher that has an event going on, please invite us. I know we can't always make all of them, but you know, I think it's. I think most times there's at least one, if not two or three, school board members that can make these meetings, and so again, I relish those opportunities. So please continue to include us if you can.
All right. So I will accept a motion to adjourn. Oh, of course. Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. I just wanted to add, I really appreciate the board's confidence. I know that an appointment to an elected position carries with it some unique responsibilities, and I intend to fully hit the ground running to support the board and to carry out the seat to the very best of my abilities. So thank you for your confidence.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you putting your name out there, putting yourself out there. We'll put you. There's plenty of work to do, so you'll definitely hit the ground running. So, all right. So, accepting the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
First by Jonathan. Second by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.